I see so many people doing affirmations and visualizations, but they're losing these things and it's not working. And I bought a course that is like more than 4 figures, and they're telling me these things. First, they have to change inside. And I'm telling you, visualizations, affirmations, they will work if you fix these things, but they won't work, any of them, until you fix these things. So I'm gonna go deep dive, okay, in this video. If you don't have time, you can leave, but if you have time, stick with it. It's gonna change your life. This will genuinely change your life in any way, shape, and form, because this is what I paid so much money to get. For me, it's nothing, because that's what you need to think. First of all, you need to understand that if you have emotional association with money, that is bad, and what it was put by your childhood, parents, and society. So most of your life, most of your emotions are not when you're like 20 or something. They are born when you're 0 to 15 years old. For example, right? Money is pain, because if you get money, you will lose your favorite one, stuff like that. If you have been brainwashed in childhood that money is this, to avoid that pain of loneliness and evilness and etc., you will avoid money to not experience these emotions. So that's what I'm saying. You need to fix that. You need to do internal work. Unless you do these things, money is not gonna come to you, because your mind subconsciously, which is your personal unconscious, is avoiding money because it doesn't want to experience that pain, that evilness. Same thing with like relationship, love. If you've been told in YouTube, you're watching YouTube, people getting cheated on, people, doing so many bad things with love, like, divorce and all that, then you're gonna avoid love to not experience these things, which is not getting cheated on, not feeling lonely, stuff like this. Yeah, so this is so important. You don't even know this is happening unconsciously, which controls more than 90% of your brain, 90% of your life. First, you need to improve this. You need to fix this. How you do that is by meditation. And now let's move on to the second point, which is that if you're asking for money, and love and all these things to God, but your mind, but your heart is at the lowest vibrations it can ever be, you're never gonna manifest, because feeling is the prayer. So if you're asking for millions, but your heart is thinking of lack, because you're in guilt and shame, which is like so bad. Like if you're feeling guilt and shame, that means you're gonna get more guilt and shame. You're gonna have life get you things that will make you more guilt and shame. So I'm telling you, it's not what you say, it's not like what you do, affirmations, visualizations. It's your heart. Frequency is the power. Frequency is the strongest. So you need to improve your frequency as well, because many people I see, they're always in guilt trap, shame trap. So what they're gonna get more of it is guilt and shame. And the third point is, like I told you, there is an inner child that was born 0 to 15, and he doesn't feel safe, or she doesn't feel safe. That's why, to avoid all of the emotions that you have associated with it, that child avoids money in general, avoids everything in general. You have not made it safe. Right now, it's still that same, depressed, lonely, and not being loved. All these traumas, it's inside you. It's like a younger self, but you haven't made it safe. You kept avoiding it. You kept avoiding it because you don't want to feel those emotions. And guess what? Past doesn't exist. So those emotions are currently right now in the present moment. You're feeling it right now. So when you're feeling it right now, that means it's draining your energy. But once you get rid of all these emotions that are from the past, but you're experiencing it from the present, because past does not exist, you're going to change your life. But most people don't want to experience that, because they feel that they're gonna lose themselves, because it's too dark out there, But guess what? When you don't do these things, nothing is gonna work. You can try visualizations, the vision boards. It's not gonna work. That's what people tell me, which I coach one-on-one mentorship, and they're like, Adnan, we don't we doing everything that you're telling me, but it's not working. And then I'm like, okay, how was your childhood? How was your 0 to 15? And it's the most traumatized things I can ever hear. So then I'm telling them to focus on these things and try to solve it, doing meditation, go back, visualize your 14-year-old self that scene that happened, and try to say to that person, you're safe, you're loved, nothing can harm you, Allah is with you. Stuff like these things, if you say these things, then you can cure it. I know a lot of techniques, but that's not the point. I'm telling you, you need to focus on these things. You need to know these things exist, so you can avoid these things, you can fix these things. Because unless you don't do these things, it's never gonna work. Your manifestations are never gonna work. Because your younger child doesn't feel safe. Because you have traumatized emotions buried. Unless they're not released, you're gonna keep feeling these emotions. So these is deep things. Like in the community that I told you, 4 figures that I paid, those people that are making or starting to make 20K a month or 30K a month, they first had to focus on inner, try to make that younger self feel safe, try to make these emotions that are so buried and ruining their frequency, solve it, then they were able to make that. Not because external change, or if you want to make the external change and your internal doesn't change, good luck. It's not gonna work. Everything you try will be blocked. Everything. Mark my words. There is so much more that I need to talk about, but if I load you with information, you're never gonna do action. So first, focus on these 3 things. Try to make them better, and then see how your life starts to change. It can happen instant. You can get a call that can change your life in like 2 hours of doing these things. But you have to believe that you will. So like I said, if you want to be mentored by me or want to join the free community, first link in the description. But for now, trust yourself, trust God, and follow your heart. Peace.